Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where as you can see I've moved our target burn point here. We have very little fuel to get this done, and my suspicion is that this might be a better position than what I had previously mapped out. Over here, the periapsis was going to be like up here, and it was going to be way off. It was going to be way off. I could already tell that. Out over here, the periapsis is maybe better, but you'll note this is after an orbit. So let's get in position here. And let's take this around one orbit. And we'll see how this goes. We've got 15 meters per second for our deorbit. That's it. Luckily, that's all we need. And let's warp right on around. Okay, so now we need to orient here. We were oriented, but it wasn't perfect, and that's understood. We're going to start this burn in about 30 seconds, so we should have enough time here. 20 seconds, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, so that's 15 meters per second, almost exactly. And let's freeze the physics here, put this over to surface velocity minus. Now our target is going to be down over here, right? And the question is, how are we going to do on this? This periapsis is going to become a encounter with the rock, a litho encounter, if you will. And as we slow down, it's going to head this direction. So the question is, do we overshoot or undershoot from here? But we need to harvest the fuel out of here. That is mission number 1 at this point. So let's flow that fuel out, and while that's happening, we can start stowing our solar panels. We're not going to need them anymore. So let's get those stowed. This is not actually fully flowed out. Apparently we can't do that while. Okay, well that's fine. Okay, so we've got that fuel harvested. Now, I'm currently not planning on landing on the wheels because I realized we could just land on these tanks and maybe not have the wheels blow up. That would be a very big deal if we could do that. So that's the goal. We'll get rid of this, and I would normally do a little puff of these engines to get us a little separation here, but I don't know that we can spare the fuel. So instead, we're just going to warp and hope it's clear by the time we enter the atmosphere. Yeah, that should be good. That looks like that'll be clear. Okay, so we're going to be entering the atmosphere fairly shortly here. I want to pull us out of warp now that we're clear and start moving us to surface velocity minus. And we're going to need to keep a close eye on our impact position here, because it's going to be interesting. Because of how thin the Duna atmosphere is, we can't really rely on parachutes for dropping our horizontal speed while we're high up in the atmosphere the way I would on a location like Eve or Kerbal. Here, that's not possible. Our chutes won't open until we get a lot lower. So we just kind of gotta nail this, and I don't have a good way to predict where we're going to be after the drag. So we're in the atmosphere as of now, but we're not getting very much drag just yet. You can see that our surface velocity is currently increasing as we fall towards our periapsis, and that's not surprising. But the periapsis is dropping here, and the time to periapsis will start to increase fairly soon. So let's just bring this in, and let's see how well we manage to guess this. I don't think we're going to be anywhere close to perfect, but hopefully we'll be good enough. That's the dream here. We're hoping to be good enough. I don't think we can jettison our sky crane until we get to the actual base. And even then, the sky crane has some tight clearances. We might be better off disassembling the sky crane and recycling it on site. We probably are, actually. So we're currently heading off of surface velocity minus. Tumbling is fine. We're not actually opposed to tumbling. We'll get yanked around by the parachutes anyway. So that's not a big concern there. The real question is, okay, here we can see our landing point, and it is currently trending in the correct direction. But the question is, are we going to end up overshooting, or rather undershooting this and landing over here? As of right now, we're definitely trending in the correct direction. We're getting through these mountains, and as long as we land in these plains, I'm relatively okay with it. This is actually looking kind of decent. I think we are going to undershoot it a little bit, so we're going to end up, like, down over here. I mean, that's reasonable. I don't mind that. This is looking good. So if we hop over here, and I want to make sure that this is set as our target. There we go. If we hop over here, we can see that's where we're coming in at. We're currently about 80 kilometers away, and our speed is actually pretty good. This is a good angle, I think, or a reasonable angle anyway. But keep in mind, we can't use our drogues immediately. We can activate all this stuff, for sure. But the drogues won't deploy until we are much, much lower. So where are we looking now? This is actually looking really good in terms of the angling. Wow. This is suspiciously good. This was a sheer guess. Wow. Okay. I like it. I'm really, really happy with what we've got so far. We're looking like we're going to be coming in quite close here. I love it. So, of course, then we have to stick the landing. And, oh, I never actually retracted this Communitron. It's fine. We don't need to at this point. I think it's under the most aerodynamic stress it's going to get, but I'm going to retract it anyway, just to be careful. Okay, so we'll do that, and as soon as our drogues are out, then we'll be good. Our chutes are all safe to deploy, but they're not going to deploy until we're closer down, and honestly, at this point, that's fine. I want to keep heading towards the target for a little bit here. We're currently looking like we may overshoot it ever so slightly, but this is going to be close. This was a pure, complete guess. Just complete gut. So I'm okay with it. This is looking very good. So we're traveling at about 200 meters per second relative to the target, and yeah, we're definitely going to be coming in very close. This is absolutely acceptable how close we're going to be. So there go the drogues, and that's going to kill a lot of our horizontal speed, which is of course going to bring this further this way, which is exactly what we want. At this point, killing our horizontal speed is good. So the drogues are absolutely helping with that, and they're going to deploy soon. Obviously, this is not a perfect pinpoint landing, but it was never going to be. The mains are going to deploy shortly. What's our radar altitude? Okay, there go the drogues deploying, and we're definitely overshooting a little bit now. So it's not perfect, but it's definitely close enough. So the mains are deploying, or rather, the mains have... Yeah, the mains are deploying. They're also open, I believe. Yeah, the mains are open. So that's getting rid of our horizontal speed, and that looks good. We're going to be landing within about 4 kilometers. Honestly, not our worst landing. We're still moving pretty quickly. Now, I need to move this from target mode into surface mode, because we can see that we are 15 meters per second at this point. We need to drop down, so let's physics warp down a little bit, and we should have good thrust to weight here. So how long of a burn time do we have? 10 seconds? Oh, that's a lot of time. Okay, that sounds good. I think we can definitely do this. As long as we don't land on the wheels. Okay, so we're about 3.5 kilometers away. That's not close enough to load in the base, which is good. We don't want to be so close that we load in the base, because then we have to have unbreakable joints and no crash damage on, and we don't want to have that on at this time. So this is looking great. So we're about 600 meters up right now, falling at about 13 meters per second. Okay, I'm taking us out of warp at this moment. We're 300 meters up, coming down at 13.3 meters per second. We need to cushion this landing, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. The question is, when? Well, I'm going to start it at about 100 meters up. So we're 120, 110, 100. we going to tip? Ooh. Yes, we are. Okay, that tipping is bad. What do we lose? Wheels on this side. So, that's unfortunate. However, is it insurmountable? If only we had landed in a flatter area. But this is honestly, it's not that flat. If only we had landed like here instead. We had no way to prevent that. And we knew as we were coming in that this had a high center of gravity. That was always going to be a thing. So the question is, what can we do about this? Well, we have some options. They're not necessarily good options. We could try to extend out these Gigantors to push us back up. That broke that Gigantor. Okay. It did give us a lot of push, though. It's breaking all of these Gigantors. That doesn't seem like it should break all of those Gigantors. Keep in mind, we'll be able to repair them. So that's relatively fine. Like I said, we knew our center of gravity was high. The initial touchdown was fine. The wheels only exploded when the tip over started. Which, I mean, the wheels are made out of explodium. I'm not necessarily surprised about that. I'm wondering if maybe we can use these guys in some manner to push ourselves back up. We could use Kerbal construction, perhaps. The real question is, what would we do about the wheels? We have spare wheels over here, so we could travel to go get them. We just need to get this thing upright. That's mission number 1 here. And if we wanted to get it upright, what is our best way to go about doing that? Our best way to go about doing that is to change our center of mass. So, I mean, that would mean something like doing this, right? That moves our center of mass to be more over here, but we need to have some actual mass here. We could move some of these over to be here temporarily to try to get ourselves back upright. Now we're currently heading down the hill very slightly. That's understood. And our reaction wheel is a thing. So there is that. Now, we don't have repair kits here, and I don't know if we have repair kits at the base right now. I don't think we do, but we can craft them eventually. So that'll be not a big problem. We can get the repairs done to this. But how are we going to get it back online? Well, let's have an engineer EVA here. I have a dumb question. If we warp, what happens? So our weight is being born here. That's understood. It is very unfortunate that we ended up landing where we did. And there's absolutely no way that we can lift this with a Kerbal. So the question is, do we want to reconstruct this using Kerbal construction and deal with the Kraken? Or do we want to say that's what we did and not deal with the Kraken and just flip it upright with the cheat menu? Like, we could disassemble this thing and rebuild it in the upright position using Kerbal construction. That's absolutely a thing that we would be capable of doing. It would take a very long time, and the Kraken would absolutely strike. We know that the Kraken would be a significant issue with that, and the Kraken is a bug. So I think what I'm going to do is exactly what I just outlined. I think I'm going to argue that we have the capability here of just reconstructing this in the correct orientation, minus the parts that have been destroyed, which there are some. To be clear, there are absolutely some. So minus the parts that have been destroyed, we would just rebuild it. Oh, we can't board this module because it's full. We need to go to the other module. We could rebuild it in an upright position in a flatter area just by moving the pieces and parts. But that would be a multi-episode thing. It would take a long, long time to do. Come on, get out of there. There you go. And I don't think it'd be very interesting, and it would be very, very Kraken prone. So I think we can just accelerate that time and be like, yeah, this is what we did. We have the capability of fixing it without cheating here, but just for the sake of time, right? So let's grab here and climb up a bit, if we can. We can, hang on. That's interesting. Okay, so we do that. So we're back in now. So what would that end up looking like? Well, that would look like if we go into here, set position, and then we're going to be easing to ground, and I'm going to turn on unbreakable joints and no crash damage at this time, just because we know we're going to have problems with it. So let's go ahead and set our position using middle mouse click right over here, not very far away, just over this way, and we're going to have to set our pitch correctly. What pitch is this going to be? Yeah, so we need to change this pitch. That's the correct orientation there. So there we go. We'll just do that for now. And the statement here is that right, that's going to be an issue. We reconstructed this in the upright position. It's an issue because these are extended and these aren't. We need to do that one more time. Okay. So just for the sake of time, we'll do that. We're already deep in this series, and we probably want to make this go a little faster. Pitch is supposed to be 90, thanks. There we go. That's the correct orientation. I'm going to accept the damage that has been caused to this, but we will see if that causes us significant issues, and we just need to be in a patch of terrain that is able to be held up here. Okay, we definitely have some Krakening going on there. Okay, I'm going to extend this out a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to extend this one out as well, and that doesn't have wheels on it. Neither does this one. So we might have to move around some of our wheels, and yeah, this is definitely wanting to Kraken out over here. That's understood. So at this point, we can have this be at about 0.4. And this will be at about 0.4 as well. You can see we're starting to roll downhill. Let's turn our brakes on. We'll need to adjust some of those. So this is going to need to be also at about 0.4. There we go. And the question is, are we capable of actually getting this done as it is right now, or do we need to move wheels around? We can absolutely do that. We could move these wheels to here, and then move this whole chunk over to here, would be the idea. Or rather, we'd move these wheels here, and then move this whole chunk over to here. And then we'd essentially have 4 sets of wheels. Unfortunately, this is spazzing out a little bit, so that's, you know, exciting. We need to have the traction control at 0 and the brakes at maximum, I believe we determined. But I want to try driving this thing first. This is not going to go well, to be clear. I just want to see how this is going to go. So we'll turn those brakes up, and traction control down, brakes up. This is really wanting to Kraken out, and I'm not surprised about it, given the situation that we found ourselves in. So we'll just do this. There we go. And traction control down, brakes up. Okay. Yeah, with this Krakening like this is pretty uncontrollable. I'm going to pull this back to 0.4, like this, and then I'm going to bring this one also back to 0.4. Okay. So we definitely need to not be steering quite as hard as we are. Let's turn off steering in these wheels. And also these wheels for now. I will keep steering on these wheels, even though they're centrally located. Okay, yeah, that's a bit of an issue. So we definitely need to get some wheels up front here. Let's go ahead and work on that. So, Jessely, go ahead and EVA, and we're going to hop off of here. I don't know if you have an electric screwdriver. I don't think you do. We could go grab one from the base, but we could also just use Kerbal Construction, which I'm going to do. Now, this might cause some issues. I'm going to quick save here in case we have any Krakens. I mean, we've already got a bit of one going on, but let's go ahead and attach this guy right over here. Okay, that is showing as red. So for right now, I'm going to place it here on the ground. I'm going to reset to build extension here. We're going to re-grab this guy. There we go. And rotate it around to be like... Will that work? This is a bad rotation. I'm going to put it back on the ground, and I'm going to grab it again. It's a little bit better. We need to fix that rotation, though. So we need to then grab this guy and rotate it like that, and then we need to, in the place tool, be a bit more like that. It's still not perfect. So let's just turn off snapping for right now. This is not the rotation that I wanted. It's so weird that it rotates here rather than at the attachment point. Okay, we'll just do that. Now I'm going to take this wheel, which is currently the load-bearing wheel. Seems okay. And we're going to put that in right here. Cool. Now what we need to do is we need to move the micro node up here. So I'm going to have this guy reset to build extension as soon as we're in range. Do we have to not be in Kerbal Construction? Maybe. There we go. Reset to build extension. And then we need to grab this, which we're not actually sitting on right now. So that's all looking good. We'll put that in there. And then we need to grab these two wheels. So I'm going to grab this wheel, and that's going to go there. And then this wheel is going to go here. Like that. Okay. So in theory, we would have done that as part of our rebuild as we were building this in the correct orientation. So let's just hop on up over here. Okay, grab on? No? Apparently we are not wanting to grab on. Let's exit Kerbal Construction mode and make a quick save here. Okay, now we're going to hop up and apparently spin in a circle. That's not what I wanted. I want to get into here. Okay, we're struggling here. Not exactly what I wanted. Okay. I'm just going to be mashing B here, and hopefully we'll be able to get there. We're certainly struggling. Maybe if we get down here and climb. Where was that climb at? Yeah, that wants to put us up here. It's very awkward. We could just hop over to the base and have Jessely hydrate the other two Kerbals. That is a theoretical option if we can't find a way to do this. The other way to do this, though, would be to hop over to the greenhouse module, and we would just move one of these guys over. So transfer crew, transfer Dunvin over to here. Oh, they both have the crew hatch on the top. I didn't notice that previously. I thought that they were different, but no, they're not. Okay, that's fine. So it doesn't really matter at this point. The opening is over here. Can you not twirl, Jessely? That would be nice. I don't know why you decided to twirl there. Can you not? There you go. Okay. There we go. Now we're in. Excellent. So we need to extend these wheels out to be 0.4, and we need to check the turn on them. The turn is on the back wheels over here. So these need to not have steering enabled. I'm going to retract this guy. And then this would need to be moved out, but I want to enable steering here, and we need to check the directionality of it. So we'll enable the steering here and here. Inverted, and okay, these are pretty messed up over here. So these are currently inverted. Let's go ahead and flip those around. So we're going to invert the steering here and here. And then over on this side, one of these is correct and the other is not. Okay, so this one is inverted, so we need to invert that. And now they're both correct. Okay, I'm going to turn off the steering on these two back wheels here, about like this. And then we're going to pull back up on this guy. There we go. And these are at 0.4. That seems good. We then need this to go to 0.4. And our main problem here, outside of this Kraken, is that we have this guy right here, right? We might have to extend these out a little further. I'm actually going to take them to maximum extension, and we need to kind of do these one side at a time. I think this might be too much weight for this to carry. I don't know. They're kind of Krakening slightly less. Okay, I'm going to quick save here in case we have some wacky Krakening happening, which we probably will. And I'm going to turn off the brakes. And we know that we need to head this way. I'm not doing any inputs right now, by the way. I'm just watching this thing go. This is real Kraken-y. Okay. I'm putting the brakes on. And we're going to bring this to a halt. I want to see if we can maybe solidify this a little bit. Okay, we're largely halted. I'm going to have Dunvan EVA here. And Dunvan's goal at this point is to head off over this direction. In Kerbal Construction, we're going to steal this guy, and I'm going to link it from... we can't attach it here. I guess here is fine. From here to here. I'm just hoping to add some rigidity here. So next, we're going to come over here. I'm going to steal this strut, and we're going to link it from here to one of these places over here, if this would ever settle down for a moment. Okay. That'll do. Now we need to go do the same on the other side. So we're going to steal this strut, attach it here, and then this is going to go right there. And hopefully that'll cause the Kraken to calm down a little bit. That's the dream. We'll see if that actually happens. But we'll just strut like this to here. Okay. It's definitely a calmer Kraken, isn't it? I think there's no doubt about that. Can we get on top of this, please? I want to have this guy go back in. No? He is not interested. Get on up here. There you go. Okay. He needs to come back over here. Grab. And board. Okay. I'm going to quick save here, just in case more things explode. They shouldn't, in theory. And at this point, now what we need to do is we need to see if we can accelerate this thing at all. So we need to be bringing this out this way, right? And I wonder if our motors are going in opposite directions of each other. I think that's a distinct possibility. But we need to be heading out over this way. Okay, So we can turn, definitely. I think some of our motors are going in opposite directions, though. We're accelerating this direction, and that's all well and good. We need to be really, really careful with turns. Right? Because this thing has a high center of gravity. We know that. And that's going to be potentially problematic. But I think I'm not going to make you sit through this entire extremely painful process of making sure these wheels are all going the correct direction, making sure we don't tip over. I think I'm just going to put a cut in here, and next episode, we're going to be up near our base and ready to dock up. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.